What's going on, YouTube? Earthpower here, bringing you another discussion video. This is our second one in the series, and today with me I have CVH.
Hi.
And Swan. I'm just going to start calling you Swan.
That's fine.
You haven't come up with a name for yourself yet.
His real name is Spencer.
And his last name is Swan.
So it all kind of works out that way.
You are Swan now. That's how I'm going to just put it in the brackets every time I put you in a video from now on.
Totally cool.
So, we got a lot to talk about today. You guys have sent us a few questions. CVH has replied to a few things online. You reply to stuff a lot better than I do sometimes.
I do, because I'm bored.
But we're going to try to...
And that all comes down to too much free time. But
yeah, I'm on Duel Zone and Carl's not, I try to...
Spencer wouldn't know because he doesn't even pay attention.
Calm down.
So, but I have a list here of stuff to talk about, and if worse comes to worse, well, we're gonna make this long, but should this get to like an hour and a half and we still have stuff to talk about,
we're all gonna take naps.
Yeah, it's just gonna go on to the next one.
Yeah.
Oh, so
okay.
To start this off,
yes.
How did we get into Duel Masters? Where did it all start?
I'll have you notice is listed as humble beginnings.
Yeah,
from humble beginnings.
So you can flash something that says humble beginnings right now.
Yeah. Well, every time I think about that, I think
we'll do
of
this like a Quentin
SpongeBob.
Tarantino movie.
The SpongeBob, the Krusty Krab intro movie.
Nope, not Catching Your Reference.
No?
Sorry.
No, I don't have it either. Anyway,
with poop, people order our patties.
Yes, I know. I
So
remember that.
The training video.
Oh,
okay.
Now I remember.
I got you.
All right.
From humble beginnings.
And now no one's watching anymore.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how about you start, Carl?
Well, all right.
I don't really know how you got into Duel Masters because I got into Duel Masters with Christian.
Yeah, I made him. I'll tell you that story in a minute.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
you
but
tell me your story.
So we'll
you can
start
tell
with
your
me,
story
we'll go to
first.
CVH,
Yeah, okay.
and then we'll go to Swan.
Yeah.
Okay, so I started, it was, I guess, the middle of 2004. It was about time the third set was releasing.
How old were you, Carl?
When was 2004?
16?
That was
316?
That was 7 years
No.
ago.
No, you were 14.
So I was 13, 14.
Yeah,
so
okay. You were too old too.
somewhere in there. And I guess my birthday would have been that summer. But I started when a buddy of mine, Errol Jackson, if you're watching this, Errol, shout outs. But you started playing it when me and him played Pokemon a lot back then. That was when Pokemon was the big thing over at Comic Chess.
Yeah.
And we were playing that every weekend. And then Errol picked up the game Duel Masters when our other friends, James Lloyd and I can't remember, it was Andrew. It wasn't Hornbaker, but it was another Andrew. They were playing it. And then our Pokemon tournament organizer started playing it as well. So, and I thought it was pretty cool, so I picked it up. Errol gave me a few cards. I put together this Firelight, from the first 3 sets, it was the best Firelight I guess could have been at that point. It was just like Deadlift Fighters and crappy blockers, and it wasn't a good deck, but it was fun, and we played around with that, and I just got into it from there. And then we started having tournaments. We were having like 5 or 6 man tournaments every Saturday, and it kind of grew a little bit from there.
And then it got smaller again.
A lot of our Pokemon players started coming over to it and playing it, and as Pokemon started to fade away at Comic Chess. And
what do you think was the most we ever had a week? At our maximum.
Well,
we
yeah,
got up to
coming back,
20-ish?
yeah, I'd say 20. It maxed out around 20.
It was pretty good.
Yeah,
it was,
no, it was a solid
it was
turnout.
close to 20 for the small little shop.
So we
it
have a
was.
good place.
But that was like in 2005 though. I mean, to begin, it really started mid 2004 when my buddy started playing. I played this Firelight deck, and then I gained enough Nature and Darkness cards after collecting for a couple months, and put together a really bad aggro deck with demon commands. I remember Zagon, Knight of Darkness. Zagon, Knight of Darkness was my first my first really good holo card that I did well with, that I remember. But yeah, that was my beginning, and from there, and then I just made good friends with James Lloyd, and that's when CVH popped up. So we'll
Yes,
get
that's
into
when
your
I
story.
popped up. All right, so I was like 11, maybe even. No, I think it was 11. It was like the summer.
we were
I
both. I
was super young. It was the summer before. I started middle school, so I was like 11.
In 2005.
Yeah, I think so. And like I met Spencer at middle school in 6th grade. We've been friends for like 7 or 8 years
That's
now.
true.
Because we're both like 18.
Because we played Yu-Gi-Oh in the cafeteria.
Yeah, and then I found out about.
great.
I don't know how I found out about Duel Masters, but like I showed up one day to see what it was about, and then I convinced Spencer to start playing it.
Just barely.
Yeah,
You were
it
just
took
like,
a long time, man. He was like really not into switching to Duel Masters.
because I wasn't bad at Yu-Gi-Oh. Like,
That was back before things cost what they cost.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like Warrior Toolbox was good, and like you could play Sacred Phoenix and you'd be
It was that
okay.
format.
and-
It was right before Cyber Dragons came out, and everybody
Yeah.
could like just easily jump into the game.
Yeah.
No, I think it was even before that. Like it was a
Yeah.
long. It was back when Beatdown, like Gemini.
It was
Elf
after
a solid
Chaos
UR
got
card.
banned.
Yeah, it was like right around that time.
Luster Soldier
Yeah.
was the thing to beat.
Yeah.
Still,
Not Luster
if you look
Dragon.
it back 7 years later,
Yeah.
now it's back.
Yeah.
That was Chaos Emperor Dragon. I know what
Yeah.
you're saying though.
Yeah.
So
Anyways.
I got into that. My first deck was Mono Water because it's just I saw it had like
Yeah.
draw cards, I guess, and it appealed to me, and it seemed
Yeah.
like the most solid of the mono decks, and I didn't want to be too weird about it.
And you gave me a
so-
mono dark deck, is that
Yeah, and then you were like, no, I gave you mono white. Then you were like, I don't want to play this shit. So then I gave you a mono dark deck.
Really?
Yeah, I think you switched.
I
this.
didn't. No, you gave me dark first, I think.
I don't know, but you switched from either one or the other. And
Yeah.
that was cool. Yeah. So
I think I switched from dark to light.
So I played mono water for a little bit. I played like 4 Corils, and I guess I was one of the few people who knew they were good.
Yeah.
And then I switched. I realized control was good. I read like Tournament Reports on Pojo because that was the big site back then.
Mm-hmm.
So then I got into control, like Water Dark. That was my first like real deck, I guess.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And
Yeah. So I mean, as Christian said, like
I've been a control player ever since.
you kind of like convinced me to switch to
Duel Masters.
Duel Masters, and like we still sort of played Yu-Gi-Oh too.
Yeah,
Like we
yeah.
we still collected and stuff. And
Yeah, I
then
want to do a sidebar.
Duel
here,
Masters like took over my life.
Then 2.5 years later, when
Yeah.
Duel Masters stopped being produced, like we
went
all
back
got
for
back
a
into
while.
Yu-Gi-Oh semi-seriously. Me and Carl more serious. You quit eventually. You're smart. You played Yu-Gi-Oh for like a year, then sold your binder for a few hundred, and then
Yeah.
me and Carl started going to
I played Glad
regionals
Beasts
and jumps.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I stopped playing before YCS. I played at the last Shonen Jump. I played at Edison, and that's when I finally quit Yu-Gi-Oh, I think.
Yeah.
Sold my
I
stuff for a
forget.
good few
Do
hundred.
you remember what deck I played after the Mana period?
Mono?
Like when I finally got into good decks. Like I think I played like this Bark Whip Beast Folk deck for a little while.
I want to say it involved light, but I don't know.
yeah, I can't
And
remember.
then
I remember what
yeah.
all the people when I started playing played. The Andrew. God, I wish I could remember his last name.
Was he the
'Cause
kind of
I
lanky
knew
guy?
him for no.
Oh.
He was a. I just don't know. I can't remember him, but I know he played mono light. Errol played mono dark. James played mono water with Depcons and Candy Cluster and all that unblockable stuff. And he was the guy to beat back then. Andre, our tournament organizer, ran Firelight, which is why I was running Firelight.
Mhm.
And Mitchell, that little kid, was running pretty much whatever he could put into a deck.
yeah.
There was a lot of that going on.
And then
Well,
I
and then
remember-
eventually after we kind of
Yeah.
got better, we started making the really professional decks.
Yeah, I want to say I was decent
Okay.
until
Yeah.
the game ended, but I didn't get good
I mean-
until after I played Yu-Gi-Oh for a good 3 years after.
Because I
that.
met you
Yeah.
into playing about 2 months into me playing Duel Masters. Is probably when I met you.
Yeah.
That like towards the end of that summer,
I guess I don't know.
and we you were playing Water, and then it turned into Water Dark.
hmm
Kendall Williams was playing Water.
Yeah, he said Curl was bad. Word up.
that's why you and Kendall probably had that conversation because you were both playing Mono Water at the time.
Yeah.
And then your mom was playing Mono Fire when Pyro Fighters were out. That was when Stompatrons came out. Is when your mom started running our tournaments.
Mhm.
CBH's mom was the best tournament organizer we could have ever asked for.
And
So
the only
totally true.
tournament organizer
Yeah, the only good one.
in the state.
I mean,
Yeah.
she pulled so much, or tried to do so much for us to get us
Tried,
good
that's
prize
it.
support.
It was
Make
Well,
the
we got
shop,
rankings,
yeah,
and we
made
got
the
all
shop
this good
ranked,
stuff.
Yeah.
sanctioned.
I mean, in the end, there was only so much you could do. The Wizards clearly didn't want to. So like we
Wanna
did.
help,
You
yeah.
know,
But we were all
But, I
ranked
mean,
in the
we-
state.
Yeah,
and,
we
like,
we
yeah.
got the best of the best in terms of like tournaments and.
It's depressing
turnout.
that there weren't more organizers like around to make it big. Because like if everyone cared that much, and
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, that's the thing. If everyone actually gave a damn, we probably could have done a lot more. But
Mhm.
but saying so, I
she
mean,
has since
if it,
forgotten how to play the game entirely. Like no recollection.
if it wasn't, I mean, if it wasn't for your mom, I mean, I don't think we'd be doing this right now.
That's
It's-
probably true.
Well, I probably wouldn't have like played for more than a few weeks.
Yeah.
I would have
I mean,
gone to
it
Yu-Gi-Oh
was-
where I could have rankings.
It was
and stuff.
every weekend for about a year and a half that we were going to Chest and playing Duel Masters
true.
tournaments.
And then we had tournaments of the 5 civs, which were great. All that
We
kind of thing.
traveled down to Charlotte.
Those are invitationals. Yeah, we
Yeah.
played the first invitationals. Did kind of horribly, but it's okay.
Hey, I went up to Maryland and placed 10th out of 50 some odd. So
I think I got like 7th in Charlotte, but it still wasn't top 4, so it was bad.
Yeah. And I mean that was 10th place. I ran a Fire Dark Dragon deck. It from like it went up to the 7th set or so. It was so bad. I don't even know.
We were all really young. Like,
Yeah, like,
honestly,
oh my
like,
God,
you were 16
I was
and we were
16
14.
at the time. Yeah.
No,
For
we weren't
Continentals.
14. For Continentals, we were 13 actually. It was
Yeah,
in July.
like,
You were 13. I must have been 15.
and we were playing against people who were way older than us.
Like, I don't remember
people
my
who used
life-
to do Magic and then switched over.
See, I don't remember my life before 11th grade, so I really don't remember my life back then.
Yeah.
You know, because it was like a switch.
Well, I remember going to Continentals and like seeing people play Merfolk for the first time.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
got my
Like,
ass
and we
handed
had-
to me.
Yeah, like, because Merfolk was incredible, and then they had the Soul Swap Merfolk decks.
Yeah, after 2006 Continentals, I got decent, but I still don't think I classified myself as good until I met like really good Yu-Gi-Oh players through Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I played against
Yeah.
Shonen Jump
We just-
champions, and they totally redefined how I thought about cards.
It was the mind game aspect of it, like being able to get into
Yeah,
your opponent's
that we
head,
never
planning
got.
your moves, playing consistently.
Everything you do has to generate. Well, we'll
Advantage.
get into
Advantage,
that. You know, you got to have a plan. Don't
Well, and our
just
decks
play
now
that.
are just so much better
Oh, yeah.
than they
Creative.
ever were
We're just
before.
bored and creative.
Yeah, board and creative. We got nothing else to
Yeah.
do. We've got 12 sets, and
Yeah.
we don't have to
That's
worry
true.
about any of them coming out, so we can just focus on what we have.
Yeah. Well, and we know exactly what combinations make the best stuff, and we know the staples at this point that we kind of have to have.
Yeah.
So, and we figuring out all the rest
Play
of that.
around with stuff
Emerald
like
and
Wily Carpenter.
Yep, which is terrible.
That's not. What
Well,
was your
it's not terrible.
What was
but
your
it's not
trick with Wily
good.
Carpenter? What'd you say this card was good with?
He was trying to run it in that clone deck that he put
Oh,
together.
yeah, that's right.
It's like
Yeah.
a graceful charity, but it's like a -1.
Yeah.
That's not actually. It's like it doesn't generate
Draw two, draw
advantage.
It doesn't generate any.
Yeah,
It does
it's
if
a
you
small
get those
thing.
clone cards going.
Yeah,
on.
but it's like
Play it with foul.
the ideal situation was to drop like a big ass cloned spike horn or two.
I just had a deck idea.
Nightmare.
Give me that pen.
It's not a good. It's not. I tried it. It's not a good idea.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
we can build it better than you did, I think.
Oh, okay, Salt.
Sorry,
Let's go.
sorry. I
You
mean,
can also
you
use
ran.
Typhoons.
You did run Roulette of Ruin.
Roulette of Ruin is a very good card, actually.
I don't know about that.
You hit 3, like shit.
So anyway, do you want to talk about the contest?
Actually,
Is
yeah,
that what
that's
we're doing
what.
now?
12 minutes into this, I want to talk about the contest. We'll
Well, I
mention
mean, we're
this
talking
at the-
about new deck ideas already,
Yeah,
so it's like.
we'll mention this at the it's kind of a segue at the end of the video too, and I'll post another update sometime midweek to give you guys the official rules and a start date.
No, just do that.
But
Right now. If you don't start it now, it's
or
not
an end
gonna
date. Okay, so what is the weekend? I think it's January 14th is going to be the Saturday 2 weeks from now,
Yeah.
or it's not a
So I'm
little,
going back to
yeah,
school.
2 weeks from now exactly.
When you go to school?
I'm going back on 14th.
Are you all? You're gonna still be here for 2? Why
Yeah.
not go back a week early? What the
To
hell?
all these subscribers and anyone out there listening, watching, this deck contest is going to be, well, it's going to be done by the 14th. I need you guys to submit your decks by the 14th. Send me a message, post it on this video or the update that I'm going to post later. Don't post it on other random deck videos because I'm not going to be able to
I
keep
think
all
the
that
best
stuff
bet would be
organized.
just like a private message on YouTube.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a
About it.
private message would be easiest. Otherwise, post them on this one.
But
or the
posting it, then
update.
other people see your ideas, and it's just
Yeah,
just private
it doesn't
message
make
at that
sense.
point.
But private
Yeah.
message me, and I want the criteria for this deck contest is going to be most creative, most effective, and most original.
Creative and original
and
being synonyms, but yes.
Not really.
Okay.
No.
well, being fancy as well as original.
Yeah, that's true.
Fancy.
So that's the criteria. There's no certain cards you need to use. I just want to see what ideas you guys have come up with. If you've ever thought of a neat idea and haven't been able to build it, or have built it and it's worked, let me know. Let me know what your experiences with the deck have been. And
Don't use White Starnoid.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah,
gonna.
like, preferably not anything that
So-
we've already built,
something
obviously.
something that we haven't seen. I mean, Control, Aggro, and Rush all have their own. Have so much that can go into them. So I mean, that's fine, of course. But like certain decks that we like Divine Riptide, like that's something I've been doing for a little while. So I don't really want to see that unless you have a totally new way to revamp and build that, of course.
Yeah.
But I want to see what you guys can come up with and shoot me a list, and then we will take all of the lists that we get. I want at least 8 people, at least 8 decks to actually do this. So once I get to that, I'll let you guys know. And if I don't get to that, we'll figure something out at that point.
And of course, we can still get more after they. You know.
Well, if we don't,
Yeah.
get 8, then we can just take the best 2.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
So, but I want the list, and as soon as I get everybody's list by the 14th, me, CVH, and Swan here, as well as maybe some others, depending, we'll go over them, review them, pick the best 2, and we'll pick the best one, and then the next runner-up. We'll build them, we'll play them against each other in a video duel, and then the 2 winners, whoever gets first, I will get a prize together. I'm thinking some promos, maybe I don't know, promo cards.
I think maybe you should do equal prizes for the 2 decks that are picked because you don't want to base it on my playing skills. Know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, one of them will probably turn out to be better than the other.
Maybe.
Yeah. We'll see. But we'll pick the 2 decks and the 2 winners. I will send you guys out some promotional cards that I have laying around, and
if we get more than 8 people, third place prize.
Lots of shiny Melnias.
so,
we have lots of shiny everything. There's like 100 last year. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, we have a lot of stuff.
We have a lot of sealed product from when our tournament stopped up here. So
yeah, Carl bought everything.
Send us your decks, and the winners will get some prizes, and let's just make this a fun contest, guys. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll send you guys an official update in it later if you guys aren't even watching this. So
you should be watching this.
I'll also post it in the title. It's
also, if you're sending Carl a list and
right.
you're a member of YouTube, which you are, don't be like not a subscriber. Like, please have already subscribed.
Yes, subscribe. If you're watching, don't be silent. Let me know you're there. I might even eventually, once we get to enough subscribers, just start picking out if you guys comment really well, just be like, oh, that's an awesome comment, thanks, and then send you something. I don't know.
That backfires because you never read the comments.
Yeah, we'll work that out. See, that's why it's a rare occasion. So if I randomly see one and I'm like, oh, this guy's awesome, he's like,
here's a Crystal Lancer.
Yes, I will. Do you want cards, man? Give me your address. I'll send you stuff.
Yeah.
Just
Alright,
cheap little dollar store toys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll make it fun. So
deck boxes. No.
Should we talk about some
sleeves?
I don't know, some actual cards. I mean, I guess we can talk about sleeves before we get into.
Well, someone who requested consistency. Who was that?
Me and some other guy.
That's
You have to go to the computer.
I think it's sophisticated.
You know, Spencer, where's your computer just in case we need it?
Yeah.
Go get the
Go get it,
laptop.
Spencer has a Mac because we're cool. Carl has some old thing.
But to start on consistency, I will turn it over to CBH because I need to get a drink. Oh, is that mine?
Okay, I don't want to sit here alone.
That's fine.
Please don't leave
Okay.
me. Okay.
I had a drink here already, guys.
Oh, can you get me a drink, Spencer? Please?
Yes. I think we need some Arnold Palmers.
I'd love
That
some.
would be glorious.
There you go.
Spencer's making
Palmer.
drinks, guys.
He's not making drinks, he's pouring them.
Spencer's pouring drinks, guys.
It's porn! It's
You
porn!
Turn on.
That was the sound of a MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
Let's
That's
go!
great noise. Wally makes that noise too in the movie.
Flash.
Wally?
Isn't that cool? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah.
Powers up, he goes, boom, like the Mac.
All right.
That's hilarious. I gotta watch Wally again.
Yeah, right?
I saw it with you, yay!
It's a good movie.
Alright, so, what am I saying? Consistency.
Yes.
Well,
How to make a deck consistent? I mean,
how to make a deck consistent?
how
You
to
can
make
play
a deck
consistent too.
and then play consistently.
Okay,
so
well,
let's
making a
start
deck
with making a
consistent.
deck consistently.
Well, you got 3 basic categories. You got rush, you got aggro, and you got control. And within those categories are numerous possibilities. And that isn't just, that's not just to Duel Masters. If you play Yu-Gi-Oh, you'll find out that even though decks don't have mana cost, they all basically fit into one of those premises. You're either controlling, being defensive, and then pushing for game, or you're being aggressive from the start pretty much. You have aggressive and defensive decks. And that's a lot of ice, Spencer! Damn! So, yeah. For a control deck, you basically just got to make sure you have all your options covered. Make sure you have, you're prepared for any situation. This is really strange. Carl, ask me some questions or something because I don't know what I'm talking about. That's pretty much what you got to do for every deck.
Well, all right. So it starts really. You've got the basic idea for the deck. It's something you want to build. You have to have an idea for it. It's got to focus on doing something. Whether that's the Divine Riptide, you have an idea, and now you want to develop a deck around that idea.
And don't sacrifice quality for originality, as in, oh, thank you for setting it right on my spell ground.
You're welcome.
It's on the video too. You should just factor it. All right. Don't sacrifice quality for originality. Like, if you think you can be more original and not run Energy Stream or Hulkas or something like that, I mean,
Then
it's
run
kind of
Great
original.
Serum.
No, I mean, it's okay. Well, what you can think you're original, and you don't have to run any of the common draw cards. Like, you could do that, but it's just gonna make it less consistent. You just gotta. Sometimes you have to make concessions. Just you can have original concepts, but you gotta use cards that are tried and true to help you out with those goals.
Well, there's certain staples for every civilization, typically. And
Like in Starnoid, we don't have any Liquid People evolutions, but we still run Hulkus. We still run Stream.
Because you run Hulkus if you run water. Essentially.
Not mostly.
Most of the time.
Yep.
Hulkus and Stream and that kind of deal.
There are no concretes also.
And typically running enough copies is really important.
Yeah,
For consistency's sake.
Yeah. At
Only
that point,
decks
it's-
that could, you could splash, you see how Gorby's aggro deck runs one of certain situational cards, like a Common Missile. It ran, one Fighter Dual
Rumblegate.
Fang, one Rumble Gate because it's sexy. And that and Control can get away with it. If you're building Rush, you probably want to stick to 3s and 4s.
Sets of 4.
Maybe 2 if you're running, 2 Critical Blades and Fire Dart because you don't need 4 and 4
Yeah.
missiles. But, most of the time you want to make sure you're drawing what you need when you need it. You don't want to be sitting against a field of blockers with no removal, and you don't
Yeah.
want to be sitting with all the blocker removal against
And-
the deck with no blockers.
And you don't want to play cards that don't necessarily aim at what you're trying to accomplish with the deck. Like in a rush deck, I'm not going to want to run cards like Twin Cannon. Sure, it's a fast speed attacker, but rush isn't trying to get to 7 mana, so
Yeah.
it's like...
And if you're
I-
there for
I-
it to get to 7.
I remember talking to Andrew Hornbaker about this. He was running Twin Cannons in his mono
Name
fire.
drop.
He was running Twin Cannons in his mono fire, and I was like, don't run Twin Cannon. He's like, but if I get to 7 mana, and I was like, but you said if. Don't run if cards. This is when I'm in this situation, this card's
I
gonna
mean, if
help.
it ran water and there was more of a hand you could still maintain to get 7,
Yeah.
that'd be different. But it
Well,
doesn't.
typically
maintain.
you run things that when you draw it, you're not going to be like, oh, I can't play this.
Yeah, I wouldn't run a
this,
Rickaboos.
or in
Here's
this
something we
situation.
actually did back in Continentals 06.
Yeah.
Me and Spencer, we ran Control and we ran Rickaboo Screwdriver. Which, sure, given the best situation you're against another control deck, because we all ran pretty much similar control decks.
Yep.
And it turned out to be a beast in the mirror match.
Yeah.
Turn 2, Rickaboo Screwdriver. We ran a lot of blockers. It
Yeah.
was like a +5 because either they could keep playing blockers and we could keep killing them, or they'd half their hand is dead.
Yeah.
But in the real world, that's good against maybe 1/3 of your matchups.
Yeah.
And even then,
And it makes the deck
common
way
kill
too
spell is better.
aggressive
If
than-
I want to get rid of a blocker, I'll just let it sit there and apocalypse it later when I can get rid of other things.
Yeah.
Or I can just attack over it with the finisher. It's just a waste of a card, and it's just
Yeah.
situational.
Worrying about cards that aren't necessarily going to hurt you too bad isn't
Yeah.
something you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
Control
dedicated.
is not
You don't want to
afraid of
build a
blockers.
deck or.
In
to
Kroll,
do
you
something.
don't have a certain number of spots to dedicate stuff to. I keep my controls at 50 or less. So if you're running one of something,
Yeah, limited deck counts are important.
Yeah, if
you
you-
can't
yeah.
run a 70 card deck and
We
expect
found that out.
it to be successful.
or 60 even. 60 is sort of pushing it.
60 is,
Unless you run a
when
lot
do we
of
draw the
stuff.
line? 54 is the most.
54
I
is the
think.
most I've ever built a deck after Continentals.
Yeah.
I've seen successful decks at more. Cecil's foul decks, I think, pushed 60 at a time, but
They're
that was a
not
deck
that
out
good,
version.
though.
They
Yeah.
were pretty good. She was a good player. She knew what she was doing. She sort of invented the strategy. But because that deck had 3 Forbos, Logic Cubes, other stuff, search memories.
Yeah,
That's
but you can
different.
just cut down the counter on everything, and
Yeah,
it will
at that,
be
at
less
that
and more
point,
consistent.
if you're running that many cards and you're justifying it by search cards, you can do something. This is what I learned from Sean, actually. He wound up taking everything that he had in 4s, bumping it down by 1, and all of a sudden his 60-card deck was 48, and it was faster. It got everything out the same amount of speed, but he just cut all his draw power and all his search down by 1,
Yeah.
and it makes it more consistent.
Yeah,
So
in Control, you
drop the
can
turn.
you can run one of everything that you wouldn't normally be useful, but you still don't want to run situational cards like that. Like maybe Miraculous Plague is that pays off against most matchups if you run one of it, and you can just ignore it or draw into it, but don't run situational cards. that
Situational
really never
cards
go
are
off.
good when they work in most situations, but if you're building a deck and then you're putting a card in to deal with one situation, you probably don't need that card.
Yeah.
Like Lost Soul is a really good card against most matchups.
Everything.
It's not great against Rush, but it still warrants a spot in the deck because of how good it is against everything else.
Yes.
And if you run one of it, you can search it with Forbos, whatever. Maybe even 2 is fine in other decks.
And if you're
great.
into it in the beginning with Rush, it ends up as your dark mana. So
But I wouldn't run 3 because it's really
No.
good. It's no, that's too many.
two
Justice
two
why
is
I don't
justified.
run. That's why I never run more than 1 or 2 Thrashes tops. Personally, sorry, Carl.
Oh no,
He loves Thrash Crawler.
I like Thrashcaller in decks that generate a lot of mana.
You ran 3 in Water
I
Dark
still only
Fire.
like one.
I ran 3 in Water Dark Fire because that deck can generate mana.
I really don't like it.
I don't know. I did. I kind
Sleeves?
of swept your control.
That's fine.
Okay, so that consistency was brought up by Sophisticated, so I got that
You
name
just say
right.
Sophisticated?
It's a C in there.
I think it's
There is a
Sophist.
C in there.
No, it's SCO.
Yeah.
Sophisticated.
I really don't.
It's
Damn it,
Sco, fist, and then I-cated. Like that's
It
how
could
he.
be a
Like,
sound-
that's how he like.
That's how
abbreviated
you don't know how you abbreviated it to
to
sound.
to fill a bullet. I don't know.
Show.
All right. So our next.
Let's move on.
Our next question
Ichthys.
on the. I'm not even gonna try it. Our next question on the
I saw
channel
Salise.
is Sanjeev and all. If I'm saying that, I hope that is Sanjeev and all. If you're listening,
Yeah.
uh,
That's about.
how do you symbolize
That's
that?
how I
for
would
me
say
too,
that,
but,
yeah.
Symbolism.
But he wanted to talk about sleeve quality because I guess in some of our videos you talked about the slap of those dragon ones.
I wasn't talking about the slap. I was
And the
talking about
crunch.
every time Carl puts down a card, it's like, let me do it. It's even louder. Like
There you
I think
go.
I'm bending my cards right now. That's not good. Yeah, it's like.
Yeah.
First of all, that only works in this game. If you do that in Yu-Gi-Oh, your shit's gonna get extra bent because they're like half as thick. But
Yeah.
but
anyway.
I wouldn't do that.
But sleeve quality and I guess that's it. Yeah, it's just sleeve quality. So you guys like
KMC.
We love
preach
KMCs.
to the choir about KMC.
Yeah.
If you look in Yu-Gi-Oh, I found out about KMCs because I'm friends with a lot of upper players in Yu-Gi-Oh who go to a lot of major events, and they got me into KMCs, so I started like looking at them. They're basically like a better quality player's choice. You can buy them online. I buy mine from Ultra Reality Games. That's the last time I bought them on eBay. Good price. They give you a good price. You get 80 in a pack for like $6, and
Which
they're like
is.
a lot. It's good for
enough.
any Duel Masters deck
Yeah.
and extra
Yeah.
sleeves.
Yeah.
So I bought a few packs of white because I think the white is actually better quality and they don't show fingerprints.
Oh, we like the purple.
I like the purple.
I like the purple
but
that we've been
like
using.
it'll take about a year, but it will show fingerprints. Like if you get white, they'll pretty much be fine forever unless you drop them in a pile of mud or something.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that with any sleeves, but
Yeah.
they're really good.
And I like the new Ultra Pros that Carl has.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have the rough backs.
Ultra
Don't
Pro-
get the other
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Ultra Pro started doing it real good about 2 years ago, and I've been behind Ultra Pro from the beginning, anyways. But I used to like Dragon Shield. Dragon Shield used to be the good sleeve before KMC. And,
Yeah.
We just didn't
and
know about
player's
KMC because
choice.
if you look at Dragon Shields, they're cut different lengths sometimes. It's
Dragon
problem.
Shield is it's
Not as
And
good
actually,
anymore.
Ultra Pro will do that too. Like if you're using Ultra Pro, as Gorby found out, you want to get a big pack because if you don't, if you get like 2 different packs,
Well-
they could be different.
Well, here's what I think is where that came from, because a couple years ago is how old my old like light blue Ultra Pro sleeves
Oh,
were.
you gave him.
And yeah, and
Oh.
then I guess now that they've got the same color, it's the same exact color, but they're newer, and I think they're cut a little slimmer, so the sleeves wind up being a little bit of a different length. But I think that's just because of years difference in the product, and it's probably been used before. So
So basically, overall, the 3 brands to watch out for are KMC, Player's Choice. Player's Choice does make
Decent
magic
sleeves.
size sleeves.
Yeah.
They're pretty much like KMC's, but I don't know. I never really use Player's Choice. I can't knock them.
yeah, and Player's Choice comes 60 to a pack, KMC comes 80, and
Yeah,
then
KMC is
Ultra Pro's
really nice.
50. So,
Yeah, Ultra Pro's
Ultra
iffy.
Pro like isn't
Yeah.
enough
Yes.
yeah.
unless you have a really small deck.
So I would say KMC first. If I can't get that, I'll get Player's Choice. But if I just want to buy Ultra Pros because they have nice colors and they
do
are
have nice
rough
colors.
back, then I would buy Ultra Pros third.
Yeah,
They're
That's
all
coming
nice.
from CVH, and I'm pretty much the opposite order, except for
KMC's are really good.
I'm Ultra Pro KMC. So, but I'll stand behind Ultra Pro probably for the rest of my card game career.
I'll
so.
stand by KMC's, man. I was using them for like 3 years straight at Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, you did like them.
They're amazing.
And there's one bad thing about Ultra Pros where they show the grooves of where you put the card in the top. Like if you have to like push it into the sleeve a little bit,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
will show that groove after a little while.
I almost got disqualified from a Shonen Jump Championship for that. I'm just gonna point that out.
Trying to
They
mark-
made me
yeah.
buy 2 more
It's
packs.
technically marking cards, apparently.
Salt.
Like, whoops.
And as far as mats go, y'all know I'm like the official poster boy for Spellgrounds. So it's not that.
Child.
Check out kbgames.com. They give you nice mats. They're nice size for Duel Masters.
Yeah, me and CVH started into mat collecting once we got into Yu-Gi-Oh, because that was the thing. Like,
It's
I don't
true.
think we ever used mats in Duel Masters.
We didn't know about them. No, I did.
And then we started playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and we're like, oh, these cards are expensive. We want to protect them on a table.
Yeah.
Mats, like that was just the way to go.
And I had a Spellground back when they were hitting 300 tops. So yeah, I did.
And
I
then
sold
you
it.
sold them all.
Yeah, I did. So I had every Spellground they ever made. Crazy shit.
All right.
Anyway. What else?
I guess to go on, going back to the beginnings, talking about tournaments. comparing what our tournaments were to how they can be should the game come back, how we would want to see a change.
Yeah.
Or if a change at all. I mean, I don't know if your mom would want to run them again for
Nope.
us, but
Someone would. I mean, I'm
yeah.
sure, you know.
Someone would.
yeah,
Because we don't have the same shop, you know.
Yeah, we have a local card shop up here, Comic Kings, but and I'm sure if the game came back, Joey would do something for us, but
That would be awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was just.
I mean, it ran well.
Yeah.
We need the people and
Well, that's the thing.
You know.
Kings is the number one card shop here in the Virginia Beach now. It's pretty much run everyone else out of business,
yeah.
and they get a lot of people over there. Their Yu-Gi-Oh
Yeah.
tournaments now are at like 80-some plus.
80 some.
Wow.
A week? 80 some.
That's
80-some.
remarkable.
They fill up. They had 64 tables there.
That's a
about
lot.
That's a lot of tables.
before I left, and they were having to turn people away.
Wow.
And now they got 3 more tables in there, and they're still hitting max capacity.
That's kind of incredible. Wow.
So
Okay.
King's doing very well. and
Okay,
should
so
Duel
I
Masters
went to
come
Kings back when there was like 30-person Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments, and I stopped going to locals for the last 2 years of my Yu-Gi-Oh career. Like I just went to regionals and jumps because
Yeah.
locals were wasting my time for real. I'm not saying I was the
And
best. I'm
money
just saying
and
I didn't have
gas.
time. You
Yeah.
know?
So, if the game is to come back,
I think we'd see
what's
bigger.
gonna happen?
I think we see bigger turnout. I think it would be done right this time because people would have something to compare it to from last time. Like,
And you want to take the major aspect quality of Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic and transfer it to this game because major events is what people play for. They go to locals to prepare for like, you know,
get
invitational
product,
whatever.
trade, and
Yeah.
You know, you have to look
test
forward to
ideas.
something.
Yeah.
Oh, Continentals is coming up. Let's not scrub again.
Yeah.
Let's build this deck, test
And
it
like,
for a
what
while.
will happen if they do make more cards? Like we were talking about that they wouldn't let us use the ones
Yeah.
that we're using right now.
Oh, yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Which
It'd
I'd
be
be
fun,
alright
yeah.
with. It'd be
Yeah.
fair. But
The
I'm
game is
saying,
cheap anyway. So.
I don't think the sets, like I think the same basic structure and how they're going to introduce sets is
Yeah.
going to be the same. I think they're going to give us a base. If it happens, I think we'd get a base set, and then we'd get an evolution set, and then we get support sets, and it would just go on from there.
Yeah.
We would just get a little bit every set
Yeah.
to get us up to the point where I don't know if the card names are going to be the same. I don't know like what they would keep the same, if anything.
Yeah.
But I think that's how it would go. Because, let's say, I mean, card games, I don't know how they find a way of just coming up with 100 some odd new names for cards every single set between the hundreds of card games that are out there. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd think Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh would already have taken every possible name, but
That's
then
true.
again,
they take a pile of
somehow
letters,
Soul
throw it
Swap
on the
wasn't
board.
already taken. I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
it was.
Well,
Actually,
then
I
we
think
get
there
Lucky
are.
Ball, and you know.
Oh yeah, we have
Well,
good names.
Go to the website Troll and Toad and type in like card names.
I know, you
and
see,
you'll
like,
get,
different
you'll get a
names,
list
right?
of stuff that relates to that name, if not the same name. In
Yeah, I've seen different names of different
card
games.
categories.
Yeah,
So,
Crazy.
I mean, it works out, but
So, if that is to happen, all this stuff would be phased out. We would guess.
yeah, we would
Yeah.
we would have all
I
this old
expect they
stuff.
might do at least the same kind of cards, but maybe a different back just to differentiate.
Yeah.
That'd be a good thing, yeah.
Okay.
a different
makes
bag,
sense. Different logo.
different names,
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe different,
Maybe
effects
slightly
here
different
and
names.
there.
I expect. You know,
We would hope they would have more balance, depending.
I mean, it was pretty balanced up
base
until
set.
last set.
I'm just saying. I think what would be cool is if we could see cards like we were talking about LFX. Instead of an LFX coming out in the new set that's the same as our LFX now. I mean, maybe a different name, different color or something, but
Different
Three mana.
but make it, instead of how it was with 4 mana 2,000 attack, make it like 3 mana 2,000 attack, or 3 mana 1,000, and then make cards that weren't playable in the past playable now.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, it depends on your standard of playable too, because
Yeah.
we
mean,
we
cards
won't have all these.
yeah, cards that we don't use because they're either too expensive or they're just not like worth it.
Yeah.
Make
And
this
don't
card-
make another Bombazar. Good God. Have we
I hear
complained
you.
about Bombazar enough on this channel yet?
I don't know, but I'm saying
Spencer Swan wants to complain some more.
we could get a. I mean, I would be fine with a ban restricted list. In this
Yeah,
game
that'd be great.
When it comes time for it.
Yeah,
but
it's not. Yeah.
not in the beginning, of course, but when need be.
If
I
they
can see-
find, well, then you'd have to have major events to regulate that. Because if you find
Yeah.
that a certain deck is dominating every major event and is causing attendance to drop or people to complain, you know, you need major events to find out about those problems, but it'd be good to stop them.
Yeah.
You know? For example, you know, if we continued the game and they didn't ban Bombazar after it took 7 of 8 top 8 spots at Continentals, That's not running the game right. That's
And
not okay.
will we still have limited tournament? You think?
Limited?
Oh,
Yeah,
limit.
like the drafts.
That exists in
for-
every game.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, of course.
no one cares about him really. Spencer does because he was first in the state for limited.
Darn right.
He's
Well, I mean,
good.
those things are cool. I like pre-releases like that because
Yeah,
it gives
me
you a
too.
chance to get into the set, learn kind of what that set has to involve itself with, and
Mm-hmm.
it gives you an idea into cards.
I'd actually like to see drafting like in Magic. Like, have you?
They draft Magic all the time.
When you pass the cards,
I know.
they did that.
Yeah, like
we
you
did
pass
that a
the
few
packs.
times. Didn't we do that a few
Yeah,
times?
we did that. We did that with Stompatrons, the pre-release for Stompatrons.
I did pretty bad there.
No,
I don't know.
I didn't play in that one. I don't think.
I won a
Yeah.
random pre-release game apparently in top 4 against Carl with Aura Pegasus. Was I against you?
Yes.
Because I remember losing to Spencer in the finals, but in top 4,
for
in
our
the
set
sneak
12
peek.
pre-release sneak peek. Me and CVH fought each other top 4. I don't remember what I was running. Just something aggro we put together with the cards that I had.
Yeah, that's pretty much all you can
And
do. with
CVH
pre-releases.
was running like 2 Valkyrie things at
and
at the
maybe
end.
Spectral Horns too.
And a couple Spectral Horns and 1 Aurora Pegasus, and he got it out in me clutch towards at the very end of the duel. He had no shields left. I had 2 attackers to his 1 blocker, and he summons Aurora Pegasus, swings in at my last shield. He doesn't have anything else to attack me with. Swings in at my last shield, flips Giga Slug off the top of his deck to
Yes,
give
Giga
himself
Slug
a
was
second
in all
blocker.
the games.
To give himself a second blocker that I couldn't get by next turn.
Yeah, I was
and he
thinking
wins with
Giga
Aurora
Slug
Pegasus the next
Giga
turn.
Slug is like a thug.
So, that
I
was-
think what probably happened was I opened the first pack or the first 2
and then
packs,
you beat him
whatever.
in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw an Aura Pegasus like available,
I
and
forgot
I didn't
what I
want to
run.
not take it because it's a Pegasus. So I was like, "Wow, this is really cool. I have to take it because it's it's just a free Pegasus." So I took it, and then I was like sticking it in, and like I randomly got some bait for it, and then I randomly got it out once the entire day probably.
Yeah, I think I just ran some like the biggest things possible. You
Yeah.
get all those free mana for 4,000 things.
Pre-releases
Yeah,
always
Giga
turned
Slug was the
into
best
like
card.
who could build the fastest deck. Like it was,
Yeah.
you wanted to build a rush deck pretty much. You wanted to get all the cheap
Yeah.
stuff. And,
It turned into aggro, but you want to try for rush.
yeah, you want to aim for rush, something that can attack quick and get past all the big crap. Technically, that's
I remember
gonna be
Hyper
the
Sprint
stuff
Warrior,
people
whatever it
have to
was,
run.
that 4 mana
Oh,
speed
Hyper
attacker
Sprint
that
was
went
just
to
a
5,000. Like that's the best like aggressive card.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You gave a speed attacker? Yep, my only one. So,
And
Alright,
then,
cool.
and then I guess moving on with playing in places, people want to like. I keep getting asked about TCO, DMC,
Oh, God.
KP, and playing on there.
No.
And
hate, but no.
I have nothing against those sites. I just don't like playing online, and it's probably because I have a crew here that I can actually play this card game with.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just have no interest in playing card games online.
I mean, I tried playing Yu-Gi-Oh online. I tried playing Duel Masters online. It
Like
just doesn't work for me.
putting a deck together online is just it doesn't feel right to me. Like
You
I
actually
like
lose a big
having-
aspect of the actual game, which is like mind games, the experience of it. You know,
yeah.
if I want to play video games, I'll do that, but
Yeah.
I don't. So
I like to be able to, like you said with card games, and this I remember.
you want to be able to
talking
bluff.
Vic
You
about-
can't
Yeah.
like really bluff online. It doesn't feel the same.
It's true.
No.
They're not going to realize that. So that's why I stay away from sites like that. I mean,
And I can't flip tables when I lose. So and real tables.
You know how it is. You know how it is.
I'll plug for it, but because it's
It's
def-
keeping
it's
the
definitely
game.
keeping the community there,
That's cool.
and it keeps you guys around and able to test some of the ideas that we come up with here. But I just don't really like playing it. I actually got a request
can-
from.
Sorry to interrupt.
No,
we
go
can
for it.
we can like generally build whatever we want too. 'Cause
In
we-
the, but no, those sites
you
go
know,
Japanese.
That's what makes us a little luckier than
Yeah.
everybody else, and the
'Cause
fact that
we have access
we
to almost
collected,
everything in the game.
you know,
Yeah.
multiple play sets of all the staples.
How many
And
Tanzanites
have
do we have, Spencer?
every-
I believe we have 7 Tanzanites.
7
Yeah.
Tanzanites total between the three of
Those
us.
could be
yeah.
some prizes.
No, we have 7 by ourselves. Like
Yeah,
you
we
talked
just have a
about.
stack of 7 Tanzanites just
Plus mine
chilling in our
too.
box.
So.
We have about 100 Hollow Lancers, a few pages of Hollow Melnias.
Yeah, that's true.
So we have access to
But,
cards,
yeah.
which is again why I don't really focus on playing online. Like if I didn't have cards to play, I would probably
Go do it.
try to get
Yeah.
into TCO.
Yeah, I mean,
but
I would probably get back into Yu-Gi-Oh, blow $1,000, and just go back to events and waste my time.
is Atlantis still even there? I don't even know.
Huh?
I don't even know if Atlantis is still even there.
Oh, I said events, not Atlantis. No, I never went to Atlantis.
Okay. I don't remember who asked on what video, but talking about it's on a video. It's not on there.
Okay.
I don't know where. You can go check all the videos if you want to.
What's
I
going
really don't want to do that.
You need to watch them anyways.
Spencer!
But
Don't.
Talking real quick about Gino requested Skype dueling, which
I'm coming. I don't know what his last name is. It's crazy.
I'm willing to try it. Like, I guess because I've got the camera, I could just set it up on the table, have it focus on the table, and then play cards from there. Viewing Skype, and then have him on the screen playing.
Or
his
you could
hand,
use
but-
you could use a laptop too.
Yeah, of course. Using the laptop, yeah, you need the laptop to Skype duel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
My Skype one, my Mac has good video capabilities.
Yeah.
Nice resolution.
But it's something I'm willing to try because I mean it's pretty much as close as you can get to actually playing across the table from somebody, but across laptops. So,
Yeah.
And across the pond, I think. Is he from a
you-
different country?
I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
I have
That
his
was so
Facebook, but I don't
clever.
know.
Thank you.
But
That's my contribution for the day.
Gino, me and you are gonna have to try that at some point. Maybe when I get back to tech, because right now just finding time to sit down and not actually just have to upload something and go to bed and go to work is hard. So
Yeah.
but I'm willing to try it, and whenever we can set up a time to do it, I will be glad to. Someone posted a question on one of the videos talking about what the game would be like if we had more shields. Like instead of starting 5 shields, starting 6, 7, or 8.
Rush would be horrible.
I have a few problems with that, and I will address them one by one. I don't know how they found the 5 shield formula, but it works. Because Rush is really good, but it's still not amazing. Like, you can beat it, it has a
Yeah.
chance to be beaten, but it also has a good chance to win. 6 shields,
Six,
you have to fight that much harder,
Yeah.
and there's a bigger chance of shield triggers. It also hurts control, because control runs one of a lot of things, and that, gets 6 shields in there. That's just a bigger chance that you're going to be forebosing and searching for the Apocalypse or Lost Soul that's in shields all
I
the
don't know.
time.
I think it would make control better though.
It would make it have
Control
better
is
matchup
like-
against Rush,
yeah,
but it
and
would be
aggro,
but it would be
even.
so weird versus other control decks when all
Yeah.
of your options are in shields. It's not okay.
That was my first thought against having more shields. Is the control would get infinitely better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it
Control
would
just
also,
takes
but you'd lose
every
options
day.
that you run one of.
But I'm
Okay.
saying that
You don't have to run one
you
of them.
lose the
Yeah, it's
aspect
better.
of Rush. The more shields you add, the worse Rush gets.
I mean, but still, like,
Aggro also
if
gets
control's
worse.
the only deck, then you're up against other control decks. Want to search for the Lost Soul? I mean, you could run
You
4 of
can
them
run
because Rush isn't
2.
a factor now, but there's a bigger chance that 2 things wind up in shields. It's not
So
okay.
what?
It's not good.
I don't know. Just the overall
It messes
aspect of
with the
having
gameplay.
6 or 7
Yeah.
shields.
I think, like you said, the 5 shield formula was right on point.
Yeah.
They did that perfectly. And then moving on straight from there is just damage control. Attacking shields, when to do it, how to do it,
Tricky.
when to go
Still
into
tricky.
it, what decks work best at attacking. You can start this
Yeah.
one if you want. Okay. Swan the floor here.
Yeah, Rush, you just attack all the time if you can, unless you're off against another Rush deck. Really, especially if you're going second with a Rush deck, if it's a Rush mirror, then you typically should kill creatures, hold off on breaking shields and kind of deprive them of hand, and then go in for the win because Rush doesn't have any triggers.
Well, I have something to add to that. Then.
Generally.
This is where the
Generally.
damage control, like this was the main topic that was revolved around this was damage control. But Rush versus Rush, this is what I found when playing your dad. This is why I really started to appreciate Rush so much more than I already did, was when I was mirroring your dad. Every single tournament, it was always me and him, like towards the very end of Swiss, because we always happen to have the same record.
Yeah.
But when it's Rush versus Rush, you have to play to set yourself up to win, if that makes sense. But on a deeper level, say he's got 2 attackers on board, and I've got 3 shields. Rush decks aren't going to summon more than 1 speed attacker because they just cost 3 mana, and Rush decks don't always have 6 mana. If he has 6 mana, then I'm kind of screwed if he has 2 speed attackers. But if I have 3 shields, he has 2 attackers that have just attacked me, and he's got enough shields on board, and I've got 2 or 3 creatures, I'm not going to kill his creatures that turn. I'm going to attack his shields and set myself up to win the next turn, which puts him in a situation to have to attack my creatures next turn instead of breaking my shields.
Yeah.
So it prevents him from setting his own victory up to kill my creatures, which puts him in my control.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you have to play. You have to set your opponent up to do what you want them to do.
Yeah. In that matchup.
And in order to win or not lose.
Yeah. But I mean, when to attack shield with control is always tricky. And Carl actually has a different style than Christian and I often. with control because you like to take shields early if you can.
Yes, I have a technique for that. You guys I like Emerald being the staple that he is for control decks and with the run water. If Emerald's setting a shield down, I always assume Pit. If they're running Darkness, I assume Pit or Surfer.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is, if I know I'm not going to be swinging for game next turn, but I'm already swinging at shields this turn, I'll swing at however many shields I can with the amount of creatures, but with my last attacker that can swing at shields, I'll break the trigger that they set. That way it's not going to affect me later in the duel when I can get rid of it. Because the idea is, if I hit that Pit and they use that, they're going to have removal for my tap cards. They're going to be able to attack my creatures their next turn and remove it.
You're talking about when you're playing control too.
Yeah, when I'm playing control, or even an aggressive deck.
Yeah, because if you're playing control, you have the opportunity to play Volley of Cryptic. So if you're already in that situation, it's not a factor.
I'm attacking. Yeah. I'm attacking shields. I'm tapping my creatures. They're going to have creatures on their board to attack my creatures next turn and remove them. And say, like, this was a simple situation. I remember watching this in Gorby's video and thinking that I would have done it differently, but he had one attacker that could have been destroyed by CVH's attacker that he had on board. And instead of breaking the shield trigger that CVH had set, he broke just another random shield. Now, the thing wrong with that is he gave CVH another option to play next turn, and he gave CVH immediate removal on his field, which means he didn't have to play around in his hand with getting rid of that card. If he had attacked the shield trigger, he would have gotten rid of a potential threat later in the duel. He would have either forced CVH to use that removal or hold on to it, and he just would have gotten it out of the way.
Hold on to it, I think.
Yeah, he would have gotten it out of the way. Yeah. It would have been more beneficial for him later in the game than it was for him there. And breaking that shield trigger last and getting it out of the way early as possible is better for you when you're swinging for game and you don't want to see it then, in my opinion. So,
but if you're sitting there and you can break 3 shields and you're running control, they're running control, they set a shield trigger, it's probably not the best bet to break 2 shields then break the trigger. Because they run more triggers. They run more triggers than a normal deck, so there's a bigger chance that you're going to get screwed in the random triggers or the random shields. And if you give them like mass removal, which is very probable, then they might come back from that. They have a hand now. And if you're like 2 turns away from possible Bomedius and you're sitting pretty, since you can break shields, you can just wait for that. And
I'm saying if you're going to attack anyways, though, if
you have to, it's good to hit the trigger probably last.
Yes.
If you know it is.
Yeah, but what are your opinions on like if you summon an Emerald second turn, and they've got nothing turn 2, would you break a shield turn 3?
Not if I'm running control, no. I'm not going to give my opponent options
in the
beginning.
And if you're running aggro, though?
You
would.
Yeah,
yes, aggro definitely is. You want to get them down to 0 shields.
Yeah, because you probably followed that Emerald up with the Bronze Orb. The next turn you can hit a Terror Horn or a Windex,
Yeah.
So you can take care of whatever threats they play turn 3 or 4.
Silence them.
Yeah. Eliminating shields when you can is aggro's best bet.
Yeah, especially in aggros that run all like Gorby. When he had the opportunity to break my last 2, he could top deck any number of outs to get rid of my 1 or 2 blockers, like a Windex, Com Missiles, 4 Awes, Colons, whatever, just mop me up. But I had 2 shields left.
The minute you get down to 0 shields against a deck that runs Holy All,
the pressure is on.
Your back is up against the wall.
Every turn you have to deal with
the rest of that duel.
Or you have to win, which is hard to do because they also run all.
Every attacker they summon for the rest of the duel, and that can be very difficult.
So, but it's tricky to know when to break sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially when you have 3 creatures on the board and you have the potential to win in 2 turns.
That's when I make the decision. It's if I'm set up to where I have an advantage. If I can attack and not lose anything from attacking, like if they don't have bigger blockers than me and I can swing in. If I have 3 attackers against a control that doesn't have any blockers on the field and it's only got like Hulkuses and stuff that can bounce with my creatures, I'm going to break those 3 shields, put him down to 2 shields, and make him have to ram his stuff up against mine or destroy my stuff. Because next turn I'll just be able to summon bigger stuff. It keeps him focused on my field and away from the other aspects of my duel, away from my graveyard, mana, hand, other stuff that he can manipulate at the time. It makes him focus on the weenie stuff on my field, because next turn I'm going to beat him if he can't get rid of it.
Unless I know someone has enough cards in their hand to give themselves game or something close to it in the next 2 turns, I'm not going to break shields when there's something they run that can legitimately screw me over. Like if I'm sitting on like a couple cards in aggro and I think, wow, if I hit a Surfer, I'm going to be in a really bad spot. Like, you got to be in, like, you got to have a decent field. You can't just be completely screwed over by 1 card.
Yeah. If you have a field that can deal with it, like if you're at a point to where you can attack, and even if they have like a Pit and a Surfer and shields, and you'll still be in an okay setup if both of those things happen, I say go for it. Because best case scenarios, they're probably not going to. The odds are technically against them having that many shield triggers. Of course, it happens, but when the odds are in your favor like that, it's usually more or less worth it to go for it. But then again, CBH gets screwed every time he gets.
I do every time I get aggressive.
Every time he wants to get aggressive and just set himself up for a
Locomotive,
win.
Terrapit, holy up, fuck it.
And then you just stop breaking shields. You're like, no.
And that's not like the one Phantom Flame.
Yeah, because like I had
turkey
enough to
that
go
one
exactly for game, but if the Phantom Flame was actually okay, I was like, okay, I'll just do it again next turn. It's still, if he has all, I lose. If he doesn't, I win. So then he had
Yeah.
all anyway. So.
Yeah, and that was a holy all situation.
Yeah.
If he has all, I lose. If he doesn't, I win. And then you
And
just
all
have
I
to bet
needed,
against
all I needed was one thing to kill that Gauntlet. I drew all the Phantom Flames and all the burst shots.
Yeah.
him. Tornado Flame, man.
None of the bolt
Needs to
mediums,
start getting
man.
tagged.
I need to start running 10-ton crunch.
10
that we found
ton
off camera.
crunch. I don't know. Have we like had a ruling on whether 10-ton crunch is good or not yet?
It's decent. Yeah, we just didn't run it because we're not.
Because like
I-
we always pick Phantom Flame.
I picked Phantom Flame just because, as much as we hate rush decks, we really don't play them against each other too much.
It's true. That's why we
But-
hate them.
But Phantom
weird.
Flame is just
We don't hate rush decks.
it's 3 mana, which means you're gonna be able to play it third turn against. So if you can play your turn 2 Emerald to bounce with something, then you can play Phantom Flame next turn to kill something. And it's a shield trigger, and it kills the right amount of power. It gets everything outside of the Pyro Fighters and the Gauntlets.
Yeah.
So
Of course, 10-ton crunch gets the power fighters and it gets all the weenie blockers.
Yes.
It's probably better in aggro decks. That's what I'm saying.
We might test it in aggro.
So yeah,
That's a good call.
10-ton crunch can start being played. I guess we can start testing it from this point out and see how it works. Because I like 10-ton crunch.
I do too.
I don't see why not. But I just
Tornado
like,
Flame is better for getting rid of Gauntlets, but at that point, you're trading into very dangerous mana cost,
it's
and
like
you can just
5
run
mana.
Taj Mahal.
and
And,
Kirill
like,
at that point.
What
Yeah.
do we think of Volcano Charger? Because I know we haven't really talked about Volcano
I
Charger.
I think
like
it's trash.
I like Volcano Charger
Yeah.
in one deck only, and that's Fire Dark Water control.
Yeah.
When you don't have any other cards for Mana Excel, Volcano Charger is my choice.
Mm-hmm.
But he runs
Kill
Thrash,
spell.
so he does that whole thing. I
And
don't.
do you run Merfolk and
He does
no
your-
your
Merfolk,
Fire Water Dark?
but
I run Merfolk in mine, then I stick my fire to like burst
Well, you
shots
run
with
you run
emeralds.
Decaloise.
yes,
Which-
Decaloise is also mine.
Yeah.
Decaloise and Valiant Warrior are mine.
Yeah.
When I run
Shut
Water
down
Dark
for
Fire, which I
burst.
haven't done in the game yet, I just run the Merfolk engine, shield triggers, mass kill like burst shot, finisher, Valiant Warrior,
I
whatever.
think I'm gonna try and put
Let's see.
together a Decaloise version later today.
And that's-
'cause you have extra ones.
Yeah.
And I've never built it before.
And that's why, like Decaloise, you'd say like, well, that's a situational card just for rush. No, it kind of craps on everything
Yeah.
else.
Well, it kills everything.
I think I played against a deck of Continentals
for
that was
us.
able to do both. It
Yeah.
could run Decaloise, Tanzanite, and Merfolk. Maybe
And-
I'm tripping, but I think I remember all that coming out.
Yeah, it can.
You should do that.
Well-
Merfolk is too good not to do.
It's trickier.
Not really, you just play Merfolk and then use Decaloise and then get all your Carills back. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're running Decaloise 10s, you have to run
And
Carills anyway for the lot.
Merfolk dodges Decaloise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you get kill all
Emerald
your
and
bait,
Corel
so-
don't, but you're running Emerald anyway.
Yeah, and if you can destroy Emeralds and Carills and play it again next turn when you Tanzanite them back, you get more triggers down, you get more Carill effects. It'd be
Yeah,
cool.
the Decaloise Tanzanite loop is excellent. Is an excellent loop to have when you're cycling Carills. And then Slash and
Hulkus
Burn.
is too.
Slash and Burn is a card that I want to start using in that control whenever
I just
they
use
get back
one,
together.
probably.
Yeah, just one.
Yeah.
But you play Slash and Burn, activate Decaloise.
Mm-hmm.
If you kill at least 2 creatures, that's like a +8.
Yeah.
You're killing 2
Like a
mana.
+4.
You're killing 2 mana, 2 cards in hand, 2 cards on field, and hitting the rest of their creatures in their hand with Decaloise's effect.
Depends on the field.
You're killing everything. And depending on how many cards you're actually killing with Decaloise, that's however many mana that you're getting rid of on that side of the
Is
field.
it shields? Oh, shields.
Is it shields in mana?
Oh, I really hope so.
Oh.
What is it?
I'm pretty sure it is shields.
Slash and Burn, is it shields
Quick,
in
Google,
mana, or-
Spencer, Google.
I thought it was hand in mana.
I'm pretty sure it's shields, but I could be
I
wrong.
can look.
It might be shields. Wow. Alright, it could be better than I
That would
think
be
it is.
really, really good.
So yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else. I don't know. Your phone's ringing again.
Also guys,
Yeah.
while we're talking about decks, I know you guys have been pretty good about this already,
Oh, hold
but
on, I have the answer.
okay.
Whenever any of your opponent's creatures is destroyed this turn, your opponent chooses a card in his mana zone and puts it in his graveyard. Then he chooses one of his shields and puts it in his graveyard.
I was right.
God.
That's
CH.
phenomenally good.
Decaloise plus Slash and Burn equals almost...
Tab Decaloise. Kill your 5 shields.
We should
Attack
play
with
2 of
Tanzanite for
those.
game.
We should play 2 of those.
I was just
No.
from one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's situational.
It also
It
comes
is.
with burst
It
shot,
is.
but you know you can 10
You
mana
need
for
to have
that shit.
Decaloise on the field. They need to have a field
Yeah.
for Decaloise to kill, and then
Yeah.
actually play
And
Slash
it doesn't
Burn
say
next turn.
discarded, so it's like, yeah, gotta be destroyed.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
So, like I said, while we're on the topic of decks, you guys have been doing this really well, but keep sending me ideas for deck profiles or decks you want to see.
The contest.
Yeah,
Just use the contest.
I'm saying that for deck profile, my Friday deck
Oh,
profiles.
for us. Okay.
Keep sending me decks that you've seen us use that if I haven't profiled yet, you want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess if I have profiled them and you're asking for them, I can just shoot you a link. So, I'll be doing one every Friday. Like, you're gonna be seeing like duels with decks that you haven't seen, and then a profile like a month later because I'm doing these once a week. But eventually, we'll have all the decks profiled and massive video duels with all of them and everything matched up eventually. So the combinations are endless. We could be doing this for months and months and months. But
hopefully by that time the game will be back or something, you know.
By the time the
well, we
channel
keep
starts
coming
to
up with like a new idea every time we get together. Like, I mean, we just built Pegasus, which you guys will see later. But
we've come up with like 8 ideas just in the past 24 hours.
Yeah, and while we've been sitting here, we had like 3.
Yes, I am doing this.
You know,
I'm gonna build the deck walls thing with Slash.
I mean, it's not even the best card for the combo. I think Teleport's better.
Who?
I mean, Typhoon. Emergency Typhoon.
Emergency Typhoon is really good.
You can turn 2, discard a Clone Nightmare, then turn 3, play another Nightmare. Random Clamp on turn 3. Kind of brutal. Except it's random, so it's even better than Clamp.
I don't like Roulette of Ruin. Anyway.
I didn't even say Roulette of Ruin just now. I was like,
you
nothing
didn't? What did you say?
I said Emergency Typhoon on turn 2.
Oh yeah, I like Typhoon.
So, someone asked, this is again in one of the posts, like if you guys really want to like get mentioned for the ideas that you're spitting out to me, just post them on the channel link because they're easier to find there. But getting into the Japanese game, not saying that we are going to, but if we were, I guess how would we go about doing it? And, I mean, obviously we'd be using TCO to play online because we're here in America.
I would honestly get back into Yu-Gi-Oh before I got it back into the Japanese Duel Masters. It's just so much easier, and I'm already grounded in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I follow it, know what's going on. Japanese is just so many sets.
How many sets have they had now?
68 and some, and then they've got a whole bunch of like side sets and decks.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, see, I have friends who play Yu-Gi-Oh, so I know all the new mechanics and everything in the game, and I'd be pretty decent picking up staples. But in Japan, there are mechanics that I don't know about.
Yeah,
I would be lost.
Yeah, there's a ton of
not
new abilities that we don't even.
I mean, if it came out gradually for us,
I don't know what a World Breaker is.
Okay.
I know World Breaker exists.
I don't know what Cross Gear is.
I don't know what it does.
It's pretty much
it's equipments for equipment. So you tap them you tap for the cost of the equipment. It goes onto the board, and then it stays on the board, kind of like an artifact in Magic.
It's like Magic.
And then you tap it again you tap that mana cost again to attach it to a creature, and then once that creature dies, that
equipment stays on board.
That equipment stays on board, and you can tap it again to attach it to someone else.
How do you get the equipment off? Do you have to kill it when it's not attached?
It just has to be killed or removed from the field.
Okay.
So
with other stuff, maybe. Huh. Okay.
Which I think is another reason why Soul Swap got hit, because you can Soul Swap with cross gears and do weird things.
Yeah.
We were a set away from getting cross gears.
Yeah, that's really sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
So many more options.
I guess we can just talk about a little bit of channel stuff now. Posting these duels. I mentioned it in one of the videos, but I'm going to mention it here as well. How you guys want to see these videos posted from here on out. I think some of the shorter video duels now we have, like if we do a match and it goes to 3 games, but each of those games is like 5 minutes, I'll just post them as one long video, games 1, 2, and 3.
Like that Rush versus Rush.
Like the Rush versus Rush we
had.
It's pretty much the only game that's going to be that short.
Yeah.
But, I mean, other than that, like, I don't know if you guys want to sit around and watch a half-an-hour duel, go to game 3, all in one video, or if you want them in separate posts. I really don't have a problem uploading them in 3 separate posts, but I don't know if you guys want to see them all as one long video or not. So shoot me your feedback on that. Let me know what you guys think about that, how you want to see these videos. And I'll just do majority choice, whoever wants to see it one way or the other. And or if you guys enjoy the matches, seeing games go to games 1, 2, and 3, or if you want to see single matches. This was something me and CVH were talking about in the very beginning.
I mean single games, like one game match.
Whether to just have one game, have those 2 decks battle it out, and then that be it at that point, if you want to see that.
Personally, I'm for matches because you get to see the versatility, how it adapts
well,
to different
we don't
situations.
like doing that because and matches are more consistent.
Yeah, over the course of time.
Matches go back to consistency. You prove the consistency of the deck.
And that's like the Divine Riptide thing.
Yeah.
they wouldn't have seen that had we just had one game.
Yeah.
And
Because I bodied you game one.
so I have I've been kind of into doing the matches now that I see how well they go over with the rest of this crowd. I'm into doing matches. I think that's the best way to do it now.
Yeah.
But some games, I mean, if you have a good one, like if we have a good first game and it showcases the 2 decks pretty well, I have no problem just uploading that one match. And doing that just one match of kind of things gives me a chance to give you guys an update, put that one video in an update, and narrate over it and give you guys an update and also something to watch while I'm talking. So just
Should we
kind of makes
we
it
talk
easier to
about
do a
what
narrative.
people want to see in commentary? Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know what the audience wants to see.
Talk about what your mom was telling you about, because Spencer's mom also played this card game.
Yeah.
She was awesome.
Back
for a
in the
little
day.
while. Outside, my mom was I have the only mom here who didn't want to play this card game. I tried to teach her and she just wasn't having it. So.
Yeah.
I was like,
Carl! No!
Anyway, my mom was talking about how I was watching the videos, because I do watch the videos. And,
You watched like 2 of them.
And she was saying how we should explain more exactly what we're doing.
exactly what we're doing. Go
at
a
the
little
time.
slower.
Yeah, go a little slower, because we do play fast and we do know all the effects really well.
I think we got too comfortable behind the camera and expected everybody to be able to keep up the same way we do.
Which is really hard, especially when you're not playing it.
I mean, I'm all for explaining things later in a comment or a post. I think it's easier because when I'm playing, I really don't want to think. I don't want to say why I'm not doing something or something. Because I might do something that look like it makes no sense, but it's setting me up for something next
well, you
time.
don't
I
have
really
to
wanna
say that. You
it.
can just say what's
Well, that's-
happening at the time.
Yeah. And then
which is what we ended up doing on these past ones. And I think it worked pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't watched them back yet, but...
Yeah, it works out a little better, but like CBH is saying, I think another cool thing to do would be to do a duel, but instead of live narration like we've been doing, have me or one of these guys go back and narrate over that video and explain what we're thinking, how we're setting ourselves up for whatever
Also,
we're
you can
about
add
to
those little
do.
comment boxes that like flash on the screen at a certain time. If you want to like keep it on the regular audio, you can just write
Yeah,
You can do that,
just a
too.
certain like quick thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I
Yeah.
did
like CVH did this for this reason. blah,
Yeah.
blah,
that.
blah.
Just a really quick.
He had
thing.
this in hand.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah,
That'd be cool. But
yeah,
tell us
and-
what you want to see, and we'll do it.
Just
Yeah.
tell us
How it
how
works.
you want us to do this, because again, this channel, I say it all the time,
Yeah.
is for you guys at this point. It's like I said, we started doing this for fun, and now that we actually have a decent audience, it's gotten to be more about you guys, and
Yeah.
and I'm all for that. I think it's wonderful. Like, I'm so glad that this channel's taken off the way it has. So
Well, especially if you guys are trying to introduce new people to the game and they're watching the videos and being
Check
confused
out
or
the
whatever it
introduction
is.
video. Check out the how to play Carl posted. He wasted a lot of time on that. So
yeah,
It's not wasted.
no, it was wasted because there were better how-tos. I could have just linked.
yeah,
it
he
up.
found that one you favorited. I'm
Alright.
like, damn, he found the other one.
So
I knew about the other one. I watched that before I made mine.
The rule book is surprisingly simple. Just read
oh, it
the
is.
rule book.
Yeah.
Like,
So there's just a lot of effects.
If you
have
can
to learn.
find a rulebook laying around.
yeah, it shouldn't be too hard.
So anyway,
How many minutes did we go for so far?
We're at an hour.
Oh,
what else do
So
we have?
yeah,
Anything?
um.
Anything else? I mean, that's
A
all I
little bit
wanted
more.
to talk about. But
Yeah, the schedule is also for this channel. The schedule will be changing in 2 weeks. The semester starts January 17th for me. When does it start for you guys?
same time.
17th for
me.
Spencer.
I'll be here anyway.
CVH is
I commute.
going
So
to
I'm
school
going back
around
to DC
here.
on the 14th.
Out to
I don't know when
Virginia
you're
Tech.
leaving.
Yep, I'm leaving to Virginia Tech
The
on the
14th.
13th, but
Okay.
that Friday.
Gotcha.
So at that point, the upload schedule will probably stay the same for the first couple weeks of school until the semester really starts up. But then I'll be going from the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, even though it hasn't been Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday because of time constraints and work and
Yeah.
everything else getting in my way. But I'm going to keep it as at 3 uploads a week. Don't know when those days are going to be, but expect Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And then after a few weeks, that's going to go back to Wednesday, Saturday uploads. And I'll give you guys the heads up before that changes. So that's that. Also, me and CVH and Swan got a little bit of an intro together. CVH is a
Excellent
wonderful pianist, and
This shit.
he is.
That's what I study in college is jazz piano.
Yes, he's.
And they made
Which
me
is
They
awesome.
made me like create a jig on spot. It's not okay.
He's a beautiful
Sounds like a
pianist.
mattress discounters commercial.
And we got a
And it's
neat,
awesome.
we got a
It's
neat
really
jazzy little 8-minute intro music. I'll just
8
put a,
minute. Good
oh,
lord.
not 8 minute, 8 second, 8 second jazzy little intro for it, and I'll start putting that up at the start of some of these
We need a logo for
duels,
you too.
and I'll
Some-
get I actually
Earth powers
I created
and-
one. If you get that that orange book bag over there, the keychains on the hook right there, if you want to see that. But
You drew it?
yeah, I created that,
You don't even want to just Photoshop? Oh, you do?
yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it was actually a modeling program that I did that with. But I will put a little logo up at the start screen, have the little music play, and then just go straight into the video. So I'll look forward to that as well. And that's the intro. And then let me know if you like it, of course, or if you have a different idea for it. But I feel like a little 8-second, 10-second intro is better than just diving right into a video. And I mean, it's going to start out the same, right? It's just going to be the jazzy little intro, and then what's going on YouTube, Earth Power here, and go on from there.
The spiel.
Yeah, the spiel. And then work schedule. I think that's everything. So anything you
Remember the
guys can think of
contest, you know,
to,
just,
talk
Yeah,
about?
remember the deck building contest? Submit your decks.
Yeah, by when?
Yeah.
When's the end for that? Since you're going back on the 13th.
Creativity
Yes.
will be rewarded.
I will post in the next video I post. I will put the update in there as well, and give you guys the typed out. I'll put the typed out rulings in this deck discussion video as well as put it in the title to let you know that it is in here and what time to listen to hear about it. And I'll mention it here at the end as well. The deck contest is for most original, most creative, and overall effectiveness.
It has to work,
Of,
yeah.
Yeah, it
overall
does have to work.
effectiveness.
Running
of,
Aqua Hulkus will not take away from your creativity points.
of
Just
the
do it.
strategy. Just
If you want
build the best deck that does the neatest thing you can think of that works. We're looking for cool ideas, something that we really haven't thought of. Like if you submit something that me and the guys have never built or thought about before,
That's remarkable.
then I guarantee
Yeah.
you're probably going to win this contest. I just want to see something cool. Like, do something neat with control, do something neat with aggro, do something neat with rush, or just come up with a totally different strategy. Or
Yeah,
something
build a
with,
deck around a card that
like
is underrated that we don't know about.
Like the
That's
Y
cool.
Starnoid or Pegasus, just big stuff like that.
But don't use those two.
But keep it to the 12 sets. Keep it to TCG only. This
Yeah,
is something
please.
I didn't mention in the beginning.
Because otherwise we can't play it.
This has to be American cards, TCG exclusive.
Don't use
only.
Bomb Bazaar. That's the only card you
Yeah.
shouldn't use.
don't use Bomb Bazaar.
Stay away from Bomb Bazaar. If you do decide to build a deck with Bomb Bazaar, I can guarantee you it probably won't get picked unless it's something cool. Like, but if it has Bomb
But if it
Bazaar,
has bombs, though,
if it has Bomb Bazaar, you're gonna have to blow
Yeah.
me away with the rest of the deck. Like,
Because chances are it can be originals at once, but it's
If it
probably going to
runs
win
Bomb
games.
Bazaar,
against
then-
Bazaar.
its win condition is going to be Bomb
Yeah.
Bazaar.
If it runs Bomb Bazaar in water,
It
you're
can
just
run,
like,
you can run
okay.
Dragon Evolution, but it's not going to
No.
be bad.
So, most creative, most original. Keep it TCG only, and submit your decks by January 14th. So 2 weeks from when
We're
this
not going
video
to
is
play it
going
if
to
you're
be
going to be
posted.
gone, just so you know.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
right.
You should do it a little bit earlier.
So, well,
That might actually
I
be a
can
good
always
idea.
I can always come down on a weekend.
Oh,
So
you're really gonna
submit
do
your
that?
decks, and then we can circulate them around, and then probably by the end of the month we'll have 2 decks picked, and we'll have them get together and make a duel, and we'll be good to go. So by the 14th, definitely have them, and that's that.
PM them to Carl on YouTube.
Yes, PM them to me, private message them to me for those who don't know abbreviation, and we'll review them and have them do.
Oh, you should describe the deck too. Just post the description.
Yeah, let us know what you're trying to accomplish. Like if it's something really off ball,
If there's a weird card choice, like tell me why it's good.
Yeah, explain it to us why you're actually using certain cards and what the strategy's trying to accomplish.
Because we could figure it out probably, but there's points with thought process. If it looks like you know what you're talking about, then that's good.
Yeah, I don't want to see someone don't submit a one of everything either.
Yeah. Or 2 of everything. Don't do that.
Just get creative.
It's already happened.
Get creative. I believe in you guys. So
You can do it.
are we satisfied?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I think we're
Is there
solid.
We
anything
talk
else?
about playing the game enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely did.
Is there anything you guys want to end with, or anything that's hit your head that you want to go back to before we sign off here?
I don't really think so. I think we're solid.
Yeah.
Talked
Pretty
about almost
long.
everything.
Alright.
Swag.
So submit more questions and we'll do this again.
Yes, keep the questions coming. I keep a list of everything you guys say to us and try to tell us. I'll start putting names by everything because I know I didn't hit all the shout outs that I could have. I know I got Sanjeev and all's question and Sophisticated,
I
but
don't think that's how you say it.
I don't I don't remember who else submitted theirs and why they submitted theirs and where. So post your questions, keep them coming, and I guess like, comment, subscribe. That thumbs up button is important. I want to see that thumbs up button. So that's how people find us. That's how we get put on the very top of YouTube searches. When you search Duel Masters, search my name, search CVH's name, search anything in the tag description. So the more you like, the more we get noticed, the bigger this channel gets, and the more stuff I can start giving out to you guys.
Y'all could share it with your Duel Masters playing friends. You know, it's on Pojo now, it's on Duel Zone, but that's about it, I think. Like, there's no other places. So if you know people who care, communities, whatever,
let them know.
yeah, whatever.
Tell your friends, tell your mom's friends, and yeah.
Spencer.
So that's pretty much it, guys. From Earth Power.
And CVH.
And Swan, I guess.
Take care, guys, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. Peace.